Happy New Year. It is January 1st. I had this grand plan of filming this card selection while I was in my New Year's outfit, which was amazing, by the way. Glitter everywhere. But then midnight actually happened, and I was so ready to get back in comfy clothes. I completely forgot until I was about to leave that I didn't do this. So currently, I am watching Twilight Zone and trying not to fall asleep because I do not need to take a nap because I literally go back to school tomorrow for the first planning day of the year. So I need to keep myself awake if I can. But I thought I'd go ahead and pull the Gina card deck because then maybe I can apply it to one of the reads that I want to do for the beginning of the year and like the 1st of January, which is crazy. Welcome to 2024. I there's plenty of options, right? Because I only pulled 12 cards last year, so there's still a whole bunch. So, oh man, no, I'm not going to pick the very first one because I never do that. I usually go from the middle, and I think I'm going to choose this one. It's kind of calling to me. Let's see. Please be good to me. Please be a good one for the beginning of the year. Read a book that is about an old person. All right, give me 1 second. I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to read A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman. I've only ever read Beartown. I've never read anything else by him, but everything else comes very highly rated. And I never saw the movie. I haven't read this yet. Other people have and liked it. So this is what I'm going to be reading for a book that is about an old person. I went and found a bookmark for the book so I could go ahead and maybe read a chapter. I'm going to read this one. I've got There Goes the Neighborhood. I might read a chapter of that. And then I think I might start The Wicked King to go ahead and get myself like ready for that reading goal I set for myself this year. But this is one of the ones Gina gave me a couple years ago in a box, and she sticky noted all of them as to why. And so I left the sticky notes in there for all of them, and it says, "I hope you like the Beartown. Laugh my fucking ass off because here you go." And I do know she has read this, and she's seen the movie with her mom, and made her cry, I believe. So anyway, I thought it was funny that her note is in there, and that's January's pick for the reading challenge. So thought you'd appreciate it. Truly devastated to learn his name is apparently not pronounced Ove. I knew it wasn't pronounced Ove. I knew it had to not be that. I think the audiobook is saying Uva. Oh, I'm so sorry to that man. Like, the English movie with Tom Hanks, his name is Otto. So, like, clearly it's a name that has caused people struggle. Oh, talking about this book is going to be fun. I'm going to make an ass of myself. Also, I almost put it back down for this challenge because it's about an old person, and I don't consider this man old. He's in, like, his late 50s, 60s. Like, he's my parents' age, and I guess, like, they're old, but I don't, like, my brain is going, no, I must be an elderly person I'm reading about. No, it's technically his age group. He got forcibly retired in the chapter I just read. Like, I guess I'll keep reading it for this challenge. It still feels weird to me because he doesn't feel old. But anyway, Ova. Ova? Oh, it's gonna be so bad. I'm so sorry. So I finished this book. I thought it would be nice to have like a fresh reaction to it because this thing fucking wrecked me in the last like chapter and epilogue. It's the second Frederick Bachman book I've ever read. I read Beartown and loved it, and I've kind of been putting off reading more of his stuff because it is it was really heavy. Beartown was. This book upsets me. That I feel like having read 2 books now by him, he writes like literary fiction, like simplicity, so well that you really get a feel for the characters and the place they are. And they have this weight and seriousness to them. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like sobbing. Anyway, what I mean to say is like this book is silly. The idea that, again, spoilers for every book in this video. the idea that like this man just wants to die. Like he starts the book being like, how can I most effectively kill myself? Like my wife is dead. I have no reason to live. And this family just insists upon being a problem for him. Like life keeps jumping in. He's like, I'm gonna hang myself. It doesn't work. I'm gonna use car exhaust. It's not gonna work. Fuck it. I'll shoot myself. I'm gonna come over and use your bathroom. It's so funny. It's like so darkly hilarious that you don't realize that the whole time you're basically doing what's happening to Ove, where like you're getting attached to the people and to him. Like I was already kind of emotional, but like I knew he was gonna die, right? Like that's gotta be the ending of the story. He's got to die at the end of the story because he's been trying to die the whole time. So it's got to show him no, life is worth living first, and then he can die peacefully. So like thematically, I knew it was expected. I did not expect to cry like a bitch. I didn't expect that. That his cat would have his head in his hand. Um, that he was like he planned for everybody and he's like taking care of the kids like they were his and everybody showing up at the funeral. But then what really got me was the last little bit where a family's looking at his house and the guy's just like Ove. And like why is the word sob making me sob? This was a good pick. This was a good pick. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was definitely a good way to start this challenge for the year. For a book with about an old person. And I'm glad I decided to keep this one for that challenge. Oh my god, I gotta get it together to write a review about this. Uh, I'm obviously gonna have to put Bachman further up in my TBR and read some more of his stuff because it was so good. It was so good. If you haven't read it, read it. I think I'm gonna need 3 to 5 business days before I even think about watching the movie. Because there's no way. You expect me to watch that, like, with people? No. No. Okay. I'm gonna go now. I gotta clean my glasses. Alright, book one down. Okay, it is currently January 28th, 29th. It's 29th. Um, I have, been finished with the January book for a while now. February is this week. My reading plans for February include listening to Out There Screaming. I started A Fragile Enchantment as a buddy read with Gina, so it reminded me, I probably better pick the February book because February is a short month. We've also got some crazy testing stuff that has to happen in February. My birthday is at the end of the month, so I'm like, let me get this picked. I don't plan on being in any plays right now. So the good news is I should be able to get plenty read without being distracted. Yeah, you gonna help me pick the book? You gonna help me pick? Here, you can help me pick the February book. I wonder if I can do a romance again like I did last year. Like last year I read oh gosh, The Society for the Lady Scoundrels. Let's see if we can aim for a romance this time. Alright, you wanna pick? Come here, Pepper. Pep, you wanna play? Here, look. You don't wanna pick? She decided she's not gonna help. Okay, so okay, my gut was gonna go with one of the ones I can see really well, but instead I'm gonna pull this one out of the like absolute middle. So, all right, read a book that is historical, short, sweet, to the point. Uh, so like historical fiction, or is just about history? What do I is historical? I don't know what to do for that. Is historical like I think I'm gonna have to find like a historical like romance. Oh, those are always so bad. Uh, maybe this is the time where I read like another Jane Austen besides Pride and Prejudice. Let me put these back up. All right, these are going away from March again. Historical. Historical. I'm gonna keep myself open to some options. But this is the first thing that jumped into my head was Washington Black. I meant to read this 2 years ago for Buzzwordathon for a place or a color. I think it's a place. And I've been meaning to get to it. It's been stuck in this shelf below the window that has all of my buzzword that I haven't read yet. And I think this will be a manageable amount for February. Um, and I've heard good things. I'm interested in it, and it takes place in the 18th century, and it is from the perspective of Washington Black, an 11-year-old field slave. So, and his miraculous journeys and where he goes. So I think this will be a good one to try. And again, I'm going to leave myself open to other options. When you look up historical romances, like you get what you think you're gonna get. I'm wanting history with a side of romance, not historical romance. So I think I'm just gonna have to factor in the is historical part and just focus on that. And like this is historical, so we'll just go with it from there. Okay, cool. So this is February's book. I'll get back to you when I've read a little bit of it and let you know what I think. Okay, so I've gotten to page 135, which is at the beginning of part 2, called Adrift for this. And it feels like a good time to give you my thoughts. I don't know what I expected. I knew it was going to be about a slave. Okay, I knew Washington Black was a slave in a sugar plantation, and these brothers like take over the plantation. They kind of bury the lead of the guy he works with. Being is like a Wild turns out to be a naturalist, an explorer, an inventor, and an abolitionist. They do a really good job of burying that. He's kind of still not a great person. Like he's not rude to any of the slaves. He's not like rude to Washington, but he's still complicit in letting them do things for him. And then like right before part 2, he's like, by the way, I've been compiling information to send back to my buddies so we can get rid of this because this is awful. But he does say a line, and I hope that they come back to it because the way it's written, it makes it feel like it's going to come back to it, where he says that he thinks if anything could send white men to hell, it'd be this. Like I don't remember the exact phrasing of it, but like that's his logic. Like it's a bad thing because it's condemning the white folks. It's not a bad thing because it's literally killing the black people, which is a wild self-centering thing to be an abolitionist for. But it also just had like an absolutely out of pocket suicide. I was not expecting. I did not. Maybe there were clues put down. I didn't pick them up. And it happened, and I was just as shocked as Washington when it happened. So now they are in the airship thing. They call it the Cloud Cutter. It's basically a hot air balloon, but like I think more serious. And they don't know where they're going because if they stay, Washington is likely going to be killed or hurt, most likely killed for like some kind of murder for the suicide instead of it was a suicide. They're gonna think he killed the guy, and they would put his name is Christopher Titch. How you pronounce it? I don't know. Christopher Wilde. They call him Titch in here. He's gonna have to be in charge of the plantation, which again goes against like his morals and beliefs. Me personally, everybody's freed. You know what I'm saying? Like you. Oh no, my mommy's gonna be unhappy. She's in fucking London and she's old. What is she gonna do about it? Like get on a boat and come out there, then go do that, and then you can run the plantation. Like if you know that I don't believe this is a thing that should happen, everybody's free now. Like anyway, so he's running away from his responsibilities and his problems, and he's taking Washington, who again is going to be probably accused of murder, with him. And I have no idea where this is going. I like some of the like supporting cast and stuff, but I'm so scared that we're gonna just drop certain characters off the face of the earth, and I'm never gonna find out about them, which is real life, but it's a novel. I don't want it to be like real life. And I'm still very intrigued by the octopus. So that's about again a quarter of the way through, maybe. Yeah, and I don't have an audio of that, so I have to sit and read it physically, and I have been like struggling to stay conscious after school this week. It has been a week. And I don't know if it's because we're having to prep for like the ACT along with my regular like EOC classes. But it's a lot. If you can hear stuff in the background, it's Pepper. I gave her cardboard, her favorite. But it is not bad, and it is historical. It's historical. So like it starts in the year 1830. So It is historical, but I think it also is going to end up branching into some like other genres. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. Anyway, that's just the update for now. I'll probably update you when I'm about halfway through, or if there's another part that comes up, I'll stop and I'll like naturally update you there. You're just gonna have to bear with me. I don't have my microphone and I don't look fantastic today, but to our credit, we did wake up on today, February 18th, with no gas, and our heat and oven and water run on gas. So it's kind of rough in this house, and my microphone's outside. I don't want to walk outside in the 30-degree temperature to walk back inside to a house with really no heat to speak of. But I did need to update you because I am about like this much left to finish this book. I just finished part 3, which is, I think this is Nova Scotia. I just finished probably my favorite section of this book. Wash is now like a young man, and he has met this very peculiar young lady who paints and wears pants. And remember, this is 1830 something. And he's kind of living the life of a freed man, but he's always on edge because this guy's hunting him for supposedly killing this dude when he didn't really kill him. He watched this guy commit suicide, but he is kind of be on the hook for it because of obvious reasons. Yeah, thank you for telling us about it. But him and this lady kind of get together. He's working alongside her dad, who is like apparently a famous dude in the thing he likes. The octopus has shown up. He saved the octopus, and he's like, wouldn't it be better if we could show these things alive instead of dead? Which is, and he built an aquarium, which is kind of cool. But now they're going to London because the guy who was hunting him found him and is like, dude, I'm not even after you anymore, for real, because like I wasted so much time trying to find you and so much money trying to find you, and no one even wants to find you anymore, so it's not that big a deal, bye. But then he tries to like kill him in an alley, so Wash stabs him in the eye. He didn't kill him, but he does stab him in the eye. And they flee to London because he hears a rumor from that dude that Christopher, like Titch, that guy, is still alive. And so he's going to, what the heck is that? Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god, sorry, I know that was weird. There's a baby squirrel in the neighbor's yard in the driveway. It doesn't have a tail. So, I'm talking to my camera. Anyway, I'm really invested in the relationship, and if anything goes wrong between these two people, I will be very, very sad. It is also, again, like I said, the 18th, so I'm very close to the end of the month. We do a lot in school in the next 2 weeks. There's a lot happening, but I can see myself drawing the next card maybe in about 2 weeks, and that will mean I'll have finished this, and I'm in a place where I can start a new book. So anyway, this is going well. I'm glad that the middle section kind of picked up because the beginning was really, really slow, and part 2 was way too fast. So we'll see if the last part is, well, I guess part 4 is the last part. I haven't even checked. It might be the next to last part. Maybe there's a part 6. I don't know. It's got those God blessing deckled edges so you can't flip easy. Aesthetics are sometimes a good thing, and they sometimes are the worst. So anyway, I'll get back to you when I've got some more thoughts, but just know that like it is doing pretty good, and I liked part 3 exponentially more than I liked part 2. I am currently reorganizing this room because Big Lots had a emerald green velvet futon couch, and so that obviously needs to live in this room. But I've got a bunch of stuff. So as I was cleaning, I was like, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to film. Yeah, I need to film. I haven't done a wrap up of Washington Black. I haven't. That was such an aggressive bite. Oh, what is that? Could we not? Don't act like you love me. You almost drew blood. What is up with my cats today? Um, I liked. I would like to talk about Washington Black without you biting me, so I'm gonna go back here, okay? I liked. I'm sure this sounds chaotic. I liked this book. I actually liked the author, the way she wrote well enough that I got her book at a used book sale last week. Oh, you'll see it in a haul video. I mean, you'll see the haul well before you see this video, but like just know that like I'm gonna read more of her work because the ending of this one wasn't exactly yeah what I was expecting. I don't know, and I don't know how I thought it was gonna end. I don't know how I thought it was gonna begin, but I thought there was gonna be more adventuring to it, And the adventuring part that you hear in the synopsis is really only like the first part, and then it's over pretty quickly. And the second part is really quick, like I said before. And then the ending is kind of ambiguous, but it did have some really good quotes in it. I'm gonna try to find them. These stupid fucking deckled edges, which I hate because it's so hard to like dog ear a page and be able to come back to it. Um, okay, yeah, here's one because okay, so Washington is like he's taken under the tutelage of this Christopher guy who like secretly is an abolitionist for most of the part one, but like I don't know. It just feels like you were complicit in a lot of stuff. You could have spoke up for somebody who had your belief system. It was very like, oh, but my family. Like I don't give a anyway. But there were some really good quotes about so with this power imbalance of like Washington's like viewing it when he was older and telling it to other people, and the people he tells it to were like, "Now it sounds like he took advantage of you, dude." Um, so okay, how could he have treated me so, he who congratulated himself on his belief that I was his equal? I had never been his equal. To him, perhaps, any deep acceptance of equality was impossible. He saw only those who were there to be saved and those who did the saving, which is very much like the white savior narrative aspect of it, of like you only exist to further his idea of goodness. And I think his lady friend said that. Yeah, so he has this girl Tana that he like gets with, and she doesn't like Christopher. And just the recounting of it, she's like, I don't like that guy. And she says, surely it's obvious that you would not like to hear this, but from everything you've told me, it's clear to me that this Christopher Wildwood did not have your best interest at heart. You were a cause to him and not a person, however much he protested otherwise. You were something to be used to further his own crusade, his own sense of goodness. And I think that's why the ending is complicated. And again, maybe I'm not the audience that's going to get out of it what I need to. And he eventually does track Christopher down and finds out that Christopher has basically like kind of got this young boy in the Middle East helping him with stuff now. And it's like he's just continuing that trend of like finding someone he deems as like less than him to bring up in the world and make himself feel better and less guilty about being a rich white man. And like doing for others should be done for the sake of doing for others and for truly trying to lift them to the equality of you. It should not be done to alleviate your own privileges. So that is my take on Washington Black. I do like this. I do like that I was able to read it because I've been trying to read it since like Buzzwordathon, I think 2 years ago. So now I can put that with a man called Ove. I've already forgotten how to pronounce that poor man's name. And fun fact, I have already finished the next book that I pulled for March, which was I've filmed this once already, but I realized about halfway through filming I was wearing a shirt with my school that I teach at, the name on it. I was like, no, I can't do that. So I'm gonna spark notes it real quick. Yesterday was my birthday. Today's February 28th. Birthday was yesterday. I was gonna film this card pull yesterday because it'd be kind of funny and be like, oh, Gina's birthday. It's my birthday. Here's the card. But yesterday was a lot. We've got a lot going on, like in our personal life this weekend, and then I had to give the ACT to a bunch of juniors, and the ACT is a really big deal. I didn't have to take it in school. I took the SAT, but this ACT is like timed. It's got 4 sections on it. It's a lot. So I did not think about it until today. I was on the way home from school, and I went, "Oh, you forgot to pull your card for March." And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna pull a card for March. I haven't even filmed the wrap up of Washington Black. I've got it here, and I mean you'll see the wrap up before you see this, but just know that they were out of order. So I'm gonna just pull the one for March, um, because March is in 2 days. It's time to start reading, pick another one. We'll see what we can get with this one. I'm gonna do this one. Looks like. Come on. All right. Read a book that you own on Kindle. So I'm already going to tell you what I'm reading because I want to start it because I need to start it because it's an arc. I have access to Lady Macbeth from from NetGalley on Kindle, and I'm very excited about it. It's one of my most anticipated reads for this year. I am going to get a physical copy too, but I have the Kindle version right now. So this one, that's the book it's going to be. It's going to be Ava Reed's Lady Macbeth. That comes out in, I think, I want to say August. Give me 1 second. I wrote down all of my pre-orders so I would know kind of when it came out. Yeah, August 6th. See, I know what I'm doing. So eventually I will have a physical copy. I just won't have it for like this part of talking about it. I'll have to put up a picture of the book cover or what have you, and but I'll go ahead and get started on that. That's exciting. I like a good reason to read an arc, and get some stuff read on my Kindle. Anyway, that is March, the book I own on Kindle. So now I get to tell you about Lady Macbeth. Okay, so Lady Macbeth. I understand why they're marketing it the way they're marketing it. I need you to understand something, because by the time this video comes out, the book will have been out for a couple months. I've pre-ordered it and I'm glad I did, but you need to understand. It's a monster fucker romance. There's a guy that turns into a dragon. And there's implication that might happen in the future. It doesn't happen in the book. Okay, we're gonna move on back to normal volume. Y'all like my little forays into ASMR? I like my little forays into ASMR. Anyway, Lady Macbeth is a retelling of the play Macbeth, which I love. It's one of my favorite Shakespeare's. I've never gotten to teach it, but it is like a really, really good Shakespeare play because it's basically a horror. Like, there's witches and there's scary stuff. There's ghosts. There's a lot of talk of guilt and obligation and ambition. It also is one of the best female villains ever, except she kind of loses the plot there at the end. It's almost like the idea that like women can be very capable of being manipulative and awful and ambitious, but they can't handle it once they do it. They lose their minds and go crazy. This gives a little bit of agency back to Lady Macbeth, and where she is a woman being married off to this foreign king in Scotland, and she's like got to survive through any means necessary, but she also is like witch cursed, like she's a hag seed, or the implication is she's a hag seed. Like, she doesn't know, but she wears a veil because the idea is if she looks upon a man, she can compel him to do things. At the start of the book, you don't know how much of this is true or not. You don't know if it's just because she's like got dark eyes and she's like really, really pale. We have no idea what she's capable of doing, but she is very smart because she's had to be smart because she's a woman growing up in a system where she knows that she's going to be used. So she does what she can to survive. She makes choices that cause things to happen, and she has moments of doubt like, ooh, I don't know if I actually wanted that thing to happen, but things go well enough for her for long enough that she kind of gets comfortable. I will say my one problem with this is the pacing and the length. I finished this book in like 2 days. I finished it so quickly, and I feel like it needed more of a middle. Like, it felt like it did a lot of setup of, oh, I'm going to say her name wrong. It's like Rosalie, but I don't think that's exactly how you pronounce it. There's different pronunciations and words and spellings depending on what character is talking, because they're all from different places. And she, a lot of setup at the beginning and with Macbeth and the situation there, and then the middle chunk where you meet the like Duncan and his sons is way too quick. And I know it's because it's like the play, and the play is really quick. It's only 5 acts, and so this is 5 parts. So I get it is quick, but I would have liked a little bit more development in the middle there, maybe a longer time with the king and his sons. I also would have preferred a really aggressive trigger warning. I do like it when books give you a little bit of a content, like, hey, just a heads up, there's some stuff happening here. You kind of know going in what's going to happen to her, as far as the fact that she's in an arranged marriage and she's going to have to consummate said marriage, but you're not really prepared when that scene happens. It does kind of a fade to black situation, but that's some aggressive trauma. She's also like brutalized in other ways, and she gets to reclaim some things, and she does get her get back. But it would have been nice to know that was happening. Which, it's Ava Reed, and I really she's gonna write about that. She has a heart and a passion for writing about like the reclaiming of sexual assault situations. And so while I like that about her books, I do want to make sure that people know that like that's in there. That scene is in there. It is pretty quick and it is toward the end. So just be ready in like act 4, I think, or part 4. But I liked it. I thought the book was very good. I still have to review it on NetGalley because they gave me an advanced copy. I would probably do awful things to get a physical arc of that book. It's so pretty. And I'm so excited that I pre-ordered it and it turned out to be good. Okay, so that was the wrap up of the February pick and the March pick. I'm actually not going to pull for April today. It's only March 10th. Feels a little early. And the first week of April is my spring break. So that would be a good time to pull the card and maybe even read the book within spring break. I think that would be nice. Um, and then that'll be the first quarter of this done. I'll probably go ahead and make the video and everything. Okay. I really, you're, you're giving me mixed signals. You're giving me mixed signals. All right. I'm going to finish cleaning this room because, like I said, I want a couch. I want to put a couch in here, right here in front of this window. So I got to keep cleaning. Gina, I mean this so nicely. I want to take a nap real bad. I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait and pull this card for April. Because I have spring break in 4 days, 4 school days from now. It's actually Saturday today, and then I'll have 4 school days between me and like a week of freedom. And I'm like, okay, cool. First week of April, I can do the Gina card deck. The first week of April. But I'm tired and I need to film a TBR thing. And I want to include that book in the TBR without, like, including the book in the TBR. I didn't get my mic or nothing, Jesus. I'm, like, about to pass out on the couch because it's a rainy day and everybody's sleeping. And there's, like, some weird Godzilla movie on TV. And I'm like, I need a nap. So these are the cards. Oh, no, that one's damaged a little bit. Weird. Look at that. That's sad. Ooh, am I getting a package? Give me a second. I'm not getting a package. It was my neighbor. Why am I surprised? I know I didn't order shit. Anyway, let me pull a card. I think I'm going to start storing them differently or find something to put them in because they've got kind of a bend to them where they've been in this box. Oh, I'm not right yet. Okay. Can you tell I'm not like mentally all together for this? Okay, here they are. I want this one on the top. What are the odds? It's the one with the thing on it. Honestly, treat yourself and buy that book you want to read. No, Gina, no, Gina, no, Gina, no. I don't need to do that. I don't need to treat myself. I need to not do that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Why couldn't that have been last week? Why didn't I pull last Sunday before I bought books I didn't need? Gina. No! There's so many books I want to read. And none of them are in here. I'd have to go buy a book. I have to hold on to this because I have to buy a book now. What? Well, that complicated things because I was going to pick a book right now. Gina? Well, I'm just going to just put a pin in this. This is April. April, I'm going to treat myself, which I should. I should because I get paid next week right before spring break, and we get a little bit of our, like, stimulus. They're like, hey, thank you for continuing to work here thing. They split it into 2 of our payments, and the second one we get in March. First one was in November, second one's in March. And I want to buy that couch, so I will buy a couch and a book. I don't know what book. But I will be buying one. The pressure is real for that. The book you want to read, too, is kind of the thing. Like, oh, there's books I want to buy, but which one do I want to read? Like, what book am I like, ooh, I need that so much right now, I have to drop money on it. Thanks a lot, Gina. Thanks a lot, man. Guess what I've got? I've got the book for April. So here's how I figured out this book. Because I was like, treat yourself. Treat yourself. I don't know how to do that on purpose. I only accidentally spend dollars on books. And also treat yourself to one like you've been wanting. I usually just do pre-orders. And right now, I'm saving all of my pre-orders. Good Lord, I didn't hear me. I'm saving all my pre-orders for, like, inevitably Barnes & Noble does their, like, why am I crooked? Girl, straighten yourself out. They do, like, a middle of the summer pre-order thing. So I've got everything that I know is coming out at the back half of the year that I didn't know about when I did my main order in January. I'm saving those up. So here's how I figured out this book. Like, okay, what do I want to read that's like now that I haven't already bought within the last few weeks? Like, I bought Lone Women and I bought a house Behind You Is the Sea, but like I already read those when I bought them. So I went to my Barnes & Noble cart where everything is like resting, waiting for me to press go. And there was one book in there that wasn't a pre-order, but that I know I want to read. And it came in today. This is a middle grade. It's called Not Quite a Ghost. This is actually a recommendation from Gina anyway. And it is like a middle grade retelling of the Yellow Wallpaper, sort of. So I'm intrigued by it. It's a lot, it's middle grade size, which is great. But I'll just read you the synopsis real quick. The house sat apart from the others on Katydid Street, silent and alone, like it didn't fit among them. For Violet Hart, whose family is moving into the house on Katydid Street, very little felt like it fit anymore. Like their old home, too small since her mother remarried and the new baby arrived. Or Violet's group of friends, which since they started middle school isn't enough for her best friend, Paige. And everything was changing at once, but sometimes Violet tells herself change is okay. That is until Violet sees her new room. The attic bedroom is shadowy, creaky, with old yellow wallpaper covered in a tangle of twisting vines and sickly flowers. And soon after moving in, Violet falls ill and does not get better. As days turns to weeks without improvement, her family growing more confused and her friends wondering if she's really sick at all, she finds herself spending more and more time alone in the room with the yellow wallpaper, the shadows moving in the corners, wrapping themselves around her at night. And soon Violet starts to suspect that she might not be alone in the room after all. So again, if you've read The Yellow Wallpaper, it's a very famous short story. I read it in AP Lit, and then I read it again as a college student in my short story class. And I've taught it before because it deals with like postpartum depression and invisible illnesses. So we usually pair it with Ernest Hemingway's A Soldier's Home, which deals with PTSD. There are some complaints I have with The Yellow Wallpaper, namely being the author was a raging racist. So anytime I can find something to replace that, it would be great. It sucks. Never meet your heroes, and by never meet your heroes, I mean never look up information about authors that you liked from like the 1920s, unless you want to get your feelings hurt. But if you don't know about The Yellow Wallpaper, the story is like a woman has been taken to this seaside place after she has a baby because her nerves, the classic go to the seaside for your nerves, and they do everything in their power to like not help her. Like when you read it, it's nothing like actively bad or abusive happening, but like she wants to go for walks and she wants to be in a big airy space, and her husband's like, no, you need to stay inside and rest, and no, you don't need these big windows, that's too stimulating for you, we need to like remove this stimulation. And so they put her in this like room with aggressive yellow patterned wallpaper and bars on the windows, and she just is in there. And so she starts seeing a woman in the paper, and she's trying to help the woman get out by the end of it. And it's very creepy to read. It's very good for imagery, unfortunately. And again, it's a good story to teach, but you kind of have to be honest about where it comes from. So anyway, this is going to be April's book of like the treat yourself. It shouldn't take me too long to read, and I will let you know my thoughts later. Good morning. I did not film yesterday. I woke up and my head didn't feel great, and it only got worse. And so I realized it was a migraine. I tried to drink coffee. I had like a soda. I tried to keep myself busy, but every time like I sat down, it would kind of catch up to me. And we ended up taking Ludi to Carrie again for her eye appointment, and she was fine, nothing crazy. Which is both a good and bad thing. Like when you make that drive, you're like, well, I thought it was something to be concerned about, but I guess we just wasted 2 hours and stressed my cat out for nothing.
So I didn't get a lot read. I did read about halfway through Not Quite a Ghost. And it's definitely a middle grade. It concerns itself with some middle grade stuff. But I do like I like the character Quinn. Because one of the pressing issues is shaving your legs. And like if you've never been a middle school girl, you really probably don't know this particular bit of like terror. But like when do you start shaving your legs? And the expectation of other people that you will be shaving your legs. I remember a fear of that. Like, oh my God, people are gonna judge me because I didn't shave my legs. But our main character feels that way because one of her friends is like commenting on it. But this character Queen, she goes like, "Why do you care? It's just the patriarchy deciding that like you need to perform for men. Like you don't have to do that." And the kid goes, "Well, I like my legs smooth." She's like, "That's great. Then you should shave your legs." Like I just like that this character's like, "Yeah, don't, it shouldn't matter. Why do you care what another girl's legs look like? Let her shave or don't." But I appreciate that because that kind of thing in a middle school book is really good. These girls do get really caught up in what their friends think and what other people think of their age group. Um, I think there's going to be some disability rep in this book. Cause I kind of looked at the end. I used to do that to myself, but I don't anymore. But like I looked to see how many pages were left, and I saw the author's note, and it mentioned chronic fatigue. I think that's going to be discussed because again, in like the short story Yellow Wallpaper, the character has like postpartum depression. She's got a sickness that is not getting better because they are treating it like they are. But this character, she is in the attic with the gross wallpaper, but she's like tired all the time. Like she goes to school and she can manage about half a day, and then she can't do much more. So I think because we're at the halfway point, we're at the chapter called The Second Appointment, and I haven't read that yet. She thought she had mono because one of the girls at the sleepover had mono, and oh, I didn't like that girl. I hope I have a change of heart. I hope they give her a redemption arc because I did not like Kennedy. I don't like her. She was mean for no reason, and Paige is a pushover. Anyway, I have a lot of opinions about these middle schoolers as if I was not one. Hi, I finished it. It for those keeping up at home, it's April 27th, so it's almost the end of the month, and I'm finally finished with this book I started during spring break, the first week of the month. And I've officially finished the first quarter of the Gina card deck challenge. And it's listen, I have nothing against this book. I have nothing against this book. I I have been in the worst reading block ever. It's not a bad book. I'm a bad reader. This is good, but it's definitely middle grade, and I can tell when I read a middle grade that's not meant for me because I don't like mean bitches. I This is like the fifth middle grade book I've read within a year that's just about friends being mean, and I forgot how much of a problem that is in middle school, where you have to have art like this that exists to tell girls like, hey, it's okay if you and your friends don't get along anymore, because that is kind of the age group where you do have friend breakups the most. But my other issue is that it takes this much of the book to set up and this much to resolve, and it won't commit fully to being either supernatural, paranormal, or real. Like, and it's devastating because Violet has a disease. She has a chronic fatigue disease. She has a chronic illness, and you have to read so many scenes of like doctors not believing her. I could have done with less of those. The one is fine. The one is fine. You got the point across. The two just kind of it hurts more. Um, and I didn't like reading it. And then we have this part where it's like, oh yeah, there is a ghost. It's in the wall. It wants her body or something, and her friend helps her, and she like pulls it out of the wall, and that works. And then in one chapter, she both does that, gets diagnosed. Hi Tim. And decides she's gonna like do something else. Like it's too much in not a lot. It's like the writer didn't know where she wanted it to go from here, and she couldn't fully commit to like the yellow wallpaper because the yellow wallpaper, like homegirl is crazy at the end, like she's doing circles around the room trying to get out of the wallpaper. So like I get it, but also your friend's a bitch, just tell her that. Like I it's such an adult view of middle grade. So that's where I say it's not this book, it's me. I can see people loving this book, and I'll probably recommend it to a couple folks. But it just as an adult made me mad. So I'm like, the review on this is going to be fair, because just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for somebody, and it definitely will find its audience. But that's 4 books. First 4 books of the Gina card deck challenge was, oh my gosh, do I not have copies of all of them? No, I don't have copies of all of them because I don't have a physical copy of Lady Macbeth yet. I did read Lady Macbeth, and I liked Lady Macbeth. I liked Washington Black too, and I really liked A Man Called Ove. This one was the one that I think didn't hit as much, and it was really easy to read, and I did like parts of it. The writing was good. Like this was good writing. Like I said, I'm just in a reading block because we were reading Night and In Cold Blood the last few weeks in school, so like I don't have a lot of capacity left. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna psych myself up to do my buddy read, and I'm gonna pull the card for May. Maybe that will inspire me to read again. Oh man, what a downer ending. I'm so sorry. These were okay, but like, it's a bad time of year.